Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chesswise. Today we are going to look at the next topic, that is the Ruy Lopez. This is an opening topic and it is played at the higher level, and we will see it's about the moves e4, e5, nf3, nc6, and the most popular choice here is the move bb5. It is played at all levels. At very higher level, they prefer to play more positionally, and white tries to put indirect pressure on the e5 pawn. So at first what it looks, white is trying to capture the e5 pawn. So bishop into c6 and knight e5 looks like a threat. So this is going to be an introductory lesson. So I will try to show you some basic traps, and we will also cover one line which we will try to play as black against the Ruy Lopez. So here black should play the move a6. The reason I am suggesting the move a6 here is the white's main move is bishop a4, and later on black has the option of playing b5 and driving the bishop away. So first let's see what happens if the pawn is taken. So bishop c6, d takes c6, opening the queen's line, knight e5, and now comes the move queen d4, creating a double attack on the knight and the pawn. Knight has to be defended, and after the move like knight f3, black has 2e4 check, queen e2 forced. When after takes, bishop goes to g4 and long castle. So we see that the black's position will become somewhat better also. Even after the best play, re1, long castle, king f1, then bishop takes f3. So we can spoil the pawn structure and put pressure on the white position already. This knight has a very good plan. Knight e7, g6, eyeing f4 and the h4 squares. Taking the pawn on e5 right now is not a good choice, but later on white can pursue that idea. After the move bishop c6, dc, white often goes for the move d4. This is called the exchange variation of Ruy Lopez, made popular by Bobby Fischer himself. And now what happens after the trade? Queen comes to d4, and what white wants after the trade of queens here, the pawn structure where black had to capture away from the center and take double pawns over there causes some problem. Like these three pawns can stop these four, so black is unable to create a passed pawn on the queen side. And this 4 versus 3, white will be able to create the passer, but that is in the absolute endgame. So all king and pawn endgames will be losing for black. Here black can consider the move bishop g4. Very interesting idea. After d, black can take queen into d1, king into d1, long castle check, double the pawns and try to create good play. The main move here is bishop a4. White keeps the knight attacked and wants to play an e5 later on. Black has various moves here. Bishop c5, g6, g7, knight goes to e7. Some people play immediate b5. b5 immediately is not that good. White bishop will come to b3. It's a beginner's move. Main move is nf6. Most popular development with attack, and it forces white to do something about the e4 pawn. Generally what happens in Ruy Lopez, white never wants to play knight c3. The reason is, if he plays knight c3, then this powerful bishop, after the moves like b5, bb3 and na5 later on, the bishop will have no place to escape. It will be traded for the knight by na5, nb3. Of course, it's not possible now because e5 is hanging. To c3 because of that. White wants to play c3 and d4 to gain control of the center. That is the main idea in Ruy Lopez. So white never defends this pawn on e4. He plays castle, that is the main line. There is d3, which is also called closed Ruy Lopez. This position is also very popular. Another move is queen e2, which helps to protect the e4 pawn. Let's look at the move castle today. Since this video is specially for players those who are new to the game, I am suggesting two ideas here. One is there is the move ne4. Okay, ne4 would become a blunder if not played properly. That is called the open variation, which can be considered. After ne4, white goes d4. And now what happens? If we take ed, then re1 will cause problem. Okay, so black has to play the move d5. So what he does, first he plays b5, drives the bishop away, then plays d5, and after taking on e5, d5 is attacked. So black just develops bishop e6. This bishop goes to e7, castle, and simplified position is there. Okay, of course it has a lot of theory. All lines of Ruy Lopez have a lot of theory. But if our opponent is also a beginner, new player, then this is a perfectly simple position. After the moves like nd2, there will be trade nd2, bd2, be7, playing for castle. Black should know the plan. One of the plan is to move this knight and try to play the move c5. So after the move c3, usually black should try to play the move d4, not fearing be6, fe6, depending on what is happening in the future. Of course, there should be no ng5 attacking the e6 pawn and all. There shouldn't be some tactics based on be6, fe6, qb3, like that. So castling would be possible, and then black can try to play d4. After d4, there will be massive trade cd, nd4, nd4, qd4, and in spite of be6, fe6, here we can see there is no huge problem as such. qh5 check just allows g6, black will go castle, and the rook will take the open fight. Roughly we can say level game. But it is, as I am telling you, this is for players those who are new. This is the opening, which is one I am suggesting. The second line will go to the more sharp line now. Let's see that. After castle, black will go for the move bishop e7. Now he is actually able to take the pawn. There will be no tactical problems on the e5. I must show you one more thing now. If after knight e4, d4, ed is taken, then re1 forcing d5, and now after knight d4, see c6 is pinned, and after bd7 there will be the move f3, and the knight on e4 would be lost. Okay, so that is why it's not possible to take e into d4. With the move bishop e7, now black is ready to take the pawn on e4, because re1 will not create any pin on the e5. White usually plays the move re1, and now there is a genuine threat of taking on c6 followed by knight into e5. So usually black players do the move b5 over here, which we are going to do, and otherwise the move d6 can also be considered. d6 can allow d4. Okay, that is totally different idea. So black plays b5, moving the bishop away. Now the bishop is well placed on the diagonal, and here we are going to play one of the sharpest moves, that is castle. Black doesn't want to play d6, he wants to play more aggressively here. And now, see, usually what happens, black goes d6, then knight a5 and tries to snatch the bishop. And white goes for the plan c3, d4. This knight travels from d2, f1, g3 to f5 or h5 in future. So that is the plan for white. So, and the position looks very what we can say closed kind of, and the white player is able to slowly build up and improve and develop a kingside attack. So the line which we are going to do will open the center and create a nice open position. So black plays the move d5. This is called the martial attack, one of the most aggressive lines, okay, not only in Ruy Lopez but entire, we can say, chess. One of the openings with black which is labeled as an attack. Okay, usually all black openings we tell them as defense. Now after e into d5, knight takes d5, knight into e5, knight into e5, rook into e5, and we reach the starting position of the martial attack. See, this could be slightly heavy for one who is new to the game. They may find it very difficult to reach till this move. That is the reason why I have taken the opening Ruy Lopez at such a later stage, because I didn't want to go into detailed opening preparation. But what happens is, if we play standard lines and if we play sharp lines at the same time, the eye for tactic or the feel for tactic will develop. So now d5 has to be protected. So black protects d5 with the move c6. Once the knight is protected, black wants to play bishop to d6, rook will move away, queen comes to h4, and there will be a very strong attack on the white king. Today I will just show you some ideas where white can go wrong. For example, after d4, d6. Now many rook moves are there, rook e4, rook e2, rook e1. Rook e1 is the main move, rook e2 is very risky, can allow the move bishop g4, f3 is there, but it looks risky. And now the queen comes to h4. Such a nice thing to have with the black pieces. Both bishops eyeing the king side, queen closer to the pawns near the king, knight ready to jump to f4. So that is why I prefer this line, and it is very good to play for anyone who is new to the game. Plan is very simple. Black wants to move the bishop to g4, get the rook to e8 and start attacking. The rook transfers from e6 to g6 or h6 in many cases. First things first, how to defend h2. One move is h3, protecting the h2 pawn, and second move is the g3 move. Our today's discussion will be the move h3. To g3 I must tell you, this is the main line. Queen comes to h3 and white has many moves here. White many a times does qd3, idea qf1. White has re4, idea rh4, and white plays bishop e3 here, another main move. Bishop e3, nd2, queen f3, queen g2. So black goes bishop g4, qd3. Idea is if bf3 to mate on g2, then queen comes to f1, and here black comes ra8. This whole variation I will be completing in more detail in the next lesson. Now we are going to look at the move h3. After the move h3, black's tactic is very easy to see. There comes bishop takes h3, pawn takes h3, queen takes h3, and we see that there is a mating pattern here. For example, white tries to get knight d2, knight f3, then all that will be very slow, because after knight d2, the f2 square is undefended, and whenever f2 is undefended, the queen on h3 and bishop on diagonal, they create a mating net. There is a forced mating for moves. Bishop h2 check, king h1 forced, bishop g3 check, kg1, queen h2 check, king f1, and queen f2 mates. Then is f2. If we defend f2 by queen e2, then queen h2 check, king f1, qh1 mates. Same thing happens to the move rook e2 also. Queen h2, king f1, queen h1 mates. And other moves like qc2, which are of course possible. Queen will now support h2 and queen will support f2 and avoid the ideas based on the tactics we saw just now. But then we can do the move bh2 check, king h1, and we can try to get the knight on the f4 square. So we can place bishop f4, kg1 takes followed by knight to f4. I also like the move, but then after qc1, knight f4 is stopped. Here also we can do the move rook e1, rook e8, and now this position is also winning because this we have kept the white king under pressure, and now after rook e8, rook e1 is threatened. If bishop e3, then we can forcibly open everything here. We can take the bishop away, take on e3. See, for example, bishop f4 check, kg1, knight e3, fe3, be3 check. This is another mating pattern. Queen has to come to f2, and after queen f2, not bf2 but qg3 check, and it will be made in a couple of moves. Okay, so it's not possible to defend the position well after h3. So this is the basic chapter. I tried to explain the basics of Ruy Lopez, some traps for white and black as well. I hope you are enjoying these lessons. Do like, share and subscribe the channel. Thanks for your time.